Hey there everyone, and welcome to another Factorio mod spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thank you so much for joining me today. And in this spotlight, we are covering the Extended Vanilla Power Armors mod. So this mod is quite old. It was created 4 years ago, but it's been updated and was last updated a few months ago. Very popular, but I've not spotlighted it yet. So basically, how this works, it's a little hard to explain, but it adds a bunch of new power armors to the game, and then a bunch of power armor equipment to the game. But they each kind of have like a subset of like what they can be used for and specific ideas behind what they should be used for. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but they say, I'm just reading this part from the mod portal, they say the mod pack adds 3 types of equipment: protocol, aggro, which is equipment designed for combat and defensive purposes; protocol engineering equipment thought, which is used for productivity and quality of life; and then precision, protocol precision hybrid equipment usable in both types of armor. And they have a nice chart on the mod portal page you can check out. But basically, it adds all these new types of armor. So there's a Mark 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then there's 2 types of each of those. So there's power armor, and then there is industrial armor. And there's a distinct difference between these. So it may seem a little weird, but what the difference is that it essentially limits what can be put in each armor based on what they're supposed to be used for. So the normal armors, just like the normal power armors of the different levels, are meant to be are like the aggro equipment, basically, type of deal. So they can take shields and personal lasers, and then fusion reactors, of course, and exoskeletons, and well, some exoskeletons, and then some roboports, like the lowest level ones. But then the industrial version of all of these is basically like the engineering equipment, so they can take the higher level exoskeletons, the higher level roboports, and obviously fusion reactors, and then like the low level shields, so they like can't have any combat stuff or high level shields put in them. And the point of this, I think, is just to kind of like be able to designate specific armors to things and have it very easy to differentiate which one is which, just because they are different. So I'm just gonna kind of show you some quick examples here. So I have the Power Armor Mark II, which is just the like it's in place of the normal Power Armor Mark II, but I just use it as an example. So if we open it up, it is same recipe, I believe. If we open it up here, I have these put in here. So the fusion reactors, which have been remade a little bit, what they look like, these are just Mark II that go with this. You can use any level of fusion reactor in either of the types of armor, so that doesn't matter. But then these can only use, so these can use shield Mark III and higher, and I guess level 1 and 2 as well, but I just put Mark III in here to kind of demonstrate these. So these can go in here, as can any sort of personal laser defense. As you can see, they're quite powerful as well. However, if I try to put higher level roboports, so this is a Mark III roboport, it will not let me put it in here. Same with exoskeletons. So if I try to put like a Mark III exoskeleton in here or higher, it won't let me. But this armor, this just normal power armor, can take lower levels, so it can take Mark II power armor and Mark I, of course, as you can see they're in here, and then it can take Mark I and Mark II roboports. So I know it's kind of a lot to digest, but there's that basically, and then we have a industrial version of the same level, and again, it's kind of just the opposite. So it can take Mark III and higher exoskeletons, or lower, I suppose, too. It could take 1 and 2, and then it can take any roboport as well, but it can take no laser turrets. Like, it just cannot take personal lasers at all. It doesn't matter what level they are, it just won't let you put them in here. And then it can only take Mark 1 and Mark 2 shields, so anything above just a level 2 shield cannot go in here. And then this kind of just applies throughout all of them. So my understanding is that, like, basically the higher levels just make the armor itself better. So like a Mark III, obviously more expensive. It requires 2 portable fusion reactors, whereas this obviously required none. And then it also requires the previous version of the armor. and then some other stuff. But it does have a bigger grid. You can see, well, that one is equipment grid 10 by 10. So that one's actually the same. I think the resistances are better though. You can see asset is like 25 and 75%, 75 and 50%, opposed to those. But then as we go up here to Mark IV, the grid does get bigger at 12 by 12. Again, even more expensive. And then Mark V, 14 by 14. It's interesting that there's no industrial version of Mark III. I'm not quite sure why, but there's not. And then lastly, we have the Power Armor Mark VI Industrial Armor Mark III. So these kind of just leveled up because there's 1, 2, 3 essentially. So there's no industrial of Mark III and Mark V. I don't really know why. But yeah, so these are really hefty. So the Power Armor, the last one is huge. And then another thing to note is just generally the grid size of the industrial armors are bigger than the grid size of the combat armors. Probably just because you need like a bunch of batteries and the roboports are bigger and stuff, I would assume. If you look here, I mean, this is a gigantic grid to literally only put fusion reactors, exoskeletons, and roboports in, basically. But that's the point of it. It is a purely building armor, which you can do some crazy building with. So that's kind of the difference here, just to show you. And again, like I said, the grid is just generally bigger. So this is 12 by 12 Mark II industrial, or just industrial, whereas this one is 10 by 10, and then so on and so forth. But this last one gets very expensive. This is incredibly expensive. But again, the resistances are off the charts on that one. And then a bit lower on the industrial, but still quite good. And the grid is just massive. So there we go, guys. That's it. I know it's kind of a lot to take in. If you check out the like diagram they did on Mod Portal, maybe look at it while you listen to the video, it'll make a lot more sense. And then like batteries, there's no new batteries, and the batteries can just be used in any armors, like completely. They're not limited whatsoever. So, and then same with like night vision and solar panels and stuff like that. But these are more for late game. Really quickly, if we just take a look here, so you can see there are researches for all the different ones here. The last one is very expensive. And then if it unlocks both kinds. So this just unlocks the power armor and the industrial armor. Anyway, that's the mod. I know it's quite a bit. We can look at the settings as well. You can change this. So armor and equipment division. This setting enables the division between aggro and engineer. So basically, if you turn this off, it just kind of lets you put anything in anything if you want, which, you know, if you want to do that, if you just want more equipment, that's a good way to get it here. Yeah, there's that. I hope it made sense. I think it's just kind of an interesting, cool way to like designate certain armors for different things without them all just looking the same. Because obviously in vanilla, if you just build a bunch of power armors and some are combat, some are building, some are movement or something, you can't really tell until you like go in, mouse over it and stuff. Whereas this is like, okay, industrial, boom, I know that's for building. Power armor, I know that's combat, and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any thoughts, questions, please leave them below. And there's a link in the description for the Mod Portal page. We can check this out. There's a lot more info. Like I said, a great diagram and stuff. Definitely worth checking out. And I believe that'll do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, a like is appreciated. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.